Hey Brick Maniacs, welcome back to another Monday Sit Rep. We got Dan in studio today taking a closer look at the Su-27 Flanker, which is our pre-order for this week. And then we got a couple of other things also back online as well that we'll take a closer look at. So let's dive on in. Okay, first up on Restock Pre-Order, it's the Su-27 Flanker designed by Dan Siskin, and I've got him in studio, special guest, with the prototype model to talk a little bit more about this pre-order. So Dan, what's some of the things you learned from building this in the light bluish gray to then the final version sitting next to it?
Right, so this was the original prototype, and I built it just because, used the gray model just to get it built.
Yep.
I wanted to get the mechanics down. There's a lot going on in this plane.
That crazy bend in
it's all inside the neck here. It has to be sturdy. You got to be able to lift this thing up and play with it. So,
well, right. It's a jet.
Yeah.
Got to swoosh a jet.
So this is the original. This is what came out of it. There's a few things that didn't translate 100% into the camouflage because of the camouflage. There's a little bit more seams in the wing and stuff like that. That I'm not. It's still a sturdy plane. But when I have this love for the original one, and then I go to this one, I'm like, yeah, this is great too, but it's still not as awesome as the original. Although that color, you just can't.
That I think is the real eye-popping deal. I've just never seen a jet this colorful before.
Right, and this is actually modeled after an actual Baltic Sea Russian jet interceptor.
Kind of a D-bag, from what I understand.
Well, yeah. He was harassing flights, unarmed flights in the Baltic. But that's just sort of the way it goes. You play the games around the coast. So that's kind of par for the course with the Russian Navy and the Russian Air Force. So, but yeah, this is an actual jet in the actual colors. This is more of like a prototype one.
Right.
I never really thought we were going to do a restock of this. It was just I figured we just do it once, do one batch. We ended up restocking it once already, and then now we're doing a third, and probably going to be the final restock of this.
Yeah, I would think so, but still, there's people out there interested in getting their hands on it for the last time.
And it's huge. I mean, if you ever had one of our MiG 29s, you compare this thing side by side. This thing, it looks the same, but it is mama versus baby. This thing is just huge. It's very mean looking. It has that sort of like Cobra-esque look to it. Real predatory looking airplane. This has some of the same stuff that's on the blue version here. I'm afraid of picking up the blue version because all those missiles.
It's got all the right. The stand is another good pick, but look at that bottom side though. Wow, that's cool.
Right, it's kind of nuts. The stand actually, I should have built a second one. I could have stuck the gray one on it, but the stand can be reconfigured so you can actually display
straight up.
Yeah, people remember seeing it. But you could display it like this. You put the stand right up the tailpipes, so to speak. And you do have folding landing gear. It does everything it's supposed to do. All your control surfaces do their thing. You do have the air brake. Both versions have this, and the landing gear do fold up, and you can put them away, as the way it's supposed to go. So.
Yeah, and obviously some cool printing and the minifigure, etc. But I think the thing that I just can't get over is that neck, like you were talking about. When I remember when you printed off the blueprints, I was looking at them and being like, yeah, good luck with that. Like, have fun trying to get that in there, and it translated just perfectly into both of these builds.
Right,
so that's really cool to see.
One thing that would be nice is that we could actually go ahead to the next level at some point in the future. Make this is the original. This is the Su-27. So we do the 35s, do the later models, and the current ones. I mean, they still do fly Su-27s. Don't get me wrong, but they have a more modern version. I mean, they've been modernizing these things, and there's. The F-30 or I've been building F-35s all week, so I'm trying to switch gears. But there's the Su-30, the Su-35. There's more. They just kept making these. They have a twin seat bomber version. It kind of has a platypus built. There's twin seater being side by side. Twin seater fighter version with the seats in front of each other. They just keep making different versions. But the vector thrust version, there's some. The newer versions will have additional control surfaces, canards up in the front. But this is what started it all. This is the premier, fourth generation fighter that the Russians use. As opposed, this is their F-15,
right?
Whereas the MiG 29 would be like their version of the F-16, smaller, more agile, but probably less capable aircraft.
Oh, well, there you have it. Just a beautiful model, and now back on restock pre-order. So if you do want in on what might potentially end up being a collection, make sure you don't miss out on this very first piece, because this is likely the last time you will see it online.
It's definitely. I think it's time to move on. We'll do this one last batch, and then we'll move on to additional jets in the future. But not for the near foreseeable future. You're going to get this, and that's all the choice you're going to have.
All right, always fun to have Dan in studio. Last but not least, let's cover the rest of what we got on brickmania.com. This is the Humvee 2CT, straight restock, no pre-order here. Nice little army builder model, kind of one of those variants of the Humvee that when we were bringing back the lineup, we're like, well, we got to have one of these, because if people want to build convoys or have a whole string of them together, this is a good way to do that. So that kit is back on brickmania.com. And then, of course, Neptune Navy SEAL as he comes around the corner here. Yeah. Awesome to see that back online. Very, very popular. It's kind of running away from me. I'm sure he will continue to be popular all month long. We'll keep bringing him back. But both of these kits, well, this kit and this minifig, are back on brickmania.com, ready to scoop up. Get your seals together, get them a Humvee to ride in, however you want to do it. We've got options. All right, so that will do it for the Monday sit rep. We are going to have a Wednesday sit rep this week, because we did finally get Dan in studio to break down all of those Spec Ops Bricks digital instructions. So we're going to do them all at once. Some of them will be already released. Some of them will still be around the corner, but most of them will be available on brickmania.com by the time the video drops. So stay tuned for that coming up on Wednesday. There's a lot of cool stuff to go through, some stuff that hasn't been around in years, especially in kit form. So cool to hear him talk about some of those builds. Definitely an episode you won't want to miss. But otherwise, that will do it for the Monday sit rep. Thank you very much for watching.